All right, we are recording, and this is a special edition as well of Automate and Grow. I'm here with Shawn O'Brien from Orlando, Florida, and Shawn and I met through again the 10X Ambassador Program, which was basically a 60-plus day mentorship program with the Grant Cardone, education program. And I've just been talking with other members of the group. And Shawn, thanks for joining. This is awesome. I'm glad you jumped on.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
And then we were both through two things. We met up obviously initially through the Ambassador Program, which was the kind of the 60-day coaching program. And then we also met up at 10X GrowthCon in Las Vegas. So I was glad that we actually got to connect out there.
Yeah, no, the mentorship program I'm in the master's program of entrepreneurship and innovation with Full Sail, which is a great program, but 2 months with mentorship, a great network, and something to look forward to. I'll take the mentorship program over actual education.
Oh, really? So now,
Yeah.
now you're doing a master's, and you're in Orlando, Florida, right? And I know you
Yep.
you sell non-nuclear density meters right now.
Yeah, non-nuclear density meters. So if you know what it is, you should buy one. If not, maybe not.
Don't buy one for your backyard.
Yeah.
No. So usually you sell that to like mining, right?
Mining companies, dredging companies, anything from huge companies like De Beers to Conoco
Oh,
to
wow.
Halliburton. Those are
wait.
my people.
You know what I realize is I'm probably sharing my screen. All right, that's better. I probably messed this up at the beginning.
It's
So now, what was your motivation? First of all, you're doing this master's program, and who is that through?
That's through Full Sail. So I've always wanted to go to school for Full Sail. It was one of my dreams when I was growing up. I wanted to make video games, and I lived in Washington. So have you ever heard of Digipin?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay. It's connected with like Nintendo and everything, and I wanted to make video games when I was
Oh,
growing
wow.
up.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean then the Navy got in the way, and
The Navy? Wait, so you were in the Navy?
Yeah, I was a nuclear machinist mate for half of my career, and then I was a field medic corpsman. So like I was a corpsman with the Navy as well. So
Oh
that
my
was about
God.
5.5 of my years. Yeah.
I had no
Sure.
idea. Okay, so that's great.
Yeah.
And then, so you were like on a sub or something, or what were you doing?
No, I was never on a sub. I went to about 7 different places, anywhere from started in Chicago, went to Connecticut, Rhode Island, San Diego, Saratoga Springs, South Carolina, just training and stuff. And
Oh
it
my
was
God.
fun.
Okay, so you started out in the Navy, and then Full Sail University is, to your point, a lot of times it's around gaming and development, right? So like
Gaming,
software
development, software. They have a great multimedia. They do everything multimedia.
Oh, okay.
News, sports. So yeah.
Cool. Okay. So then you've been going there for a master's program in what?
Entrepreneurship and innovation. Yeah.
Got it.
So like their god is like Eric Rice.
Oh yeah, Lean Startup.
Yeah.
I aspire to
Lean
be that. That would be my audience for Automate and Grow.
Oh, we'll get there. So yeah.
If you like Lean Startup, you'll probably like Automate and Grow. Just
Yeah,
saying.
actually,
Just saying.
right now, I love Lean Startup, and Automate and Grow is right in the same vein.
I think it's like yeah. Anyways, I think that if anyone's looking for similar content,
Little plug.
little plug.
Automate,
Well, we're on Automate and
Grow.
Grow, so.
Yeah.
And then, so what you're saying though is that you got more out of the Cardone 10X Ambassador Program than you have even out of your entrepreneurship and innovation program.
Yeah, absolutely. I think education is going to go privatized,
Oh, I agree with that. Well, it is privatized. That's the problem.
but no one sees that. They think that
Harvard
a
is
big-
like public.
Well, yeah.
It's
they
not.
think that but they don't know that they can get as good education through a Grant Cardone University for $2,000 or whatever deal you get.
Right.
and it's worth $40,000. Like, only reason I'm going to Full Sail is I have the GI Bill. They gave me a free MacBook. It is a credit, I'll have a cute little degree, and I'm getting paid $600 a month.
Oh, that's great because of the GI Bill.
Yeah, but it's literally a business opportunity. That's why I'm going, though.
That's great. It sounds like a good program. I mean, I think, not to go around on it, but I think education in the United States has become a business to the point where you think that these institutions with a big brand name, you're buying into a brand, and they've jacked up the cost so much. And I think there's a couple elements of that. One, it's NCAA. So if I'm a student athlete and I'm going to go to an NCAA school and they don't want to pay me, what they do is they say, this education's worth 50 grand we're giving to you for free. So that's, 4 years, 200 G's. So we can't afford to pay you.
Yeah.
Right? But that affects everybody. They're like, oh, well, these other people will pay for it too, and they'll finance it. And then the government, unfortunately, has made it so it's illegal to write off, right? So you can't not illegal, but you can't write off the debt. If you can't go bankrupt, that's the thing is, it's like there's bankruptcy laws, but then there's this, this 100 or 200 grand that people are starting their life with, right?
Yeah.
And then the problem is you have tenure. So you have people that are in these institutions that are just there. They're like a union employee educating you. It's like, and I ask this question to people, would you send your kid to school to be educated by a union employee? And they go, no. I'm like, but you are. Because it's based upon seniority, which has nothing to do with meritocracy or what you publish or what your ideas are. Mm-hmm. The other problem, and I think Jordan Peterson has been the guy to bring this to light, is that the humanities has been taken over by third wave, basically postmodernists, right?
Yeah.
So you've got these soft things in social programs, like the social, I don't know if it's social studies, but humanities essentially, right?
Yeah.
So it's not engineering, it's not computer science, it's not architecture, right? It's not hard skills, not computer science. So what do I need 4 years for that?
Dude, like you can learn almost anything you want. Like if you teach yourself, or
YouTube.
Like you can teach whatever you want in like 3 months, and you can do it. Like sales.
Thank you. Do it.
Grant Cardone, do it. Like Grant Cardone, since we're on that topic.
Right.
3 months, and you can sell almost anything you want.
You can.
If you
learn to earn, right? Like
yeah.
And I think even the startup world, like if you look at Peter Thiel, right? Who was the original guy that funded Facebook and has the Thiel, and he's like huge venture capitalist, right? And he formed the Thiel Foundation, and he said, listen, I'll give you 100 grand not to go to university. Go start something, right? So you can apply to the Thiel Foundation and gives you 100 G's to startup money, right? And I think they even partnered up with Y Combinator. So Y Combinator would do like the 90-day accelerator program, incubator program, and they would pay the founders like, I don't know, 4 or 5 grand a month each times 3 months. They go through it's basically by classes, right? So 90-day classes. And at the end of it, you've got a business. So you're pitching them. They pay you. And at the end of it, I think Thiel Foundation gives them 100 grand. And there's someone else who gives them 50 grand. So like my buddy, for example, went through Y Combinator, and they got, day one, they basically had already had 170 grand in the kitty for their business. And then they have demo day. So they're pitching. So they've gone through a real entrepreneurial education where they're actually building their business. And, they probably own a piece of your company at the end, but it's very small.
Yeah.
And, day one, they go, you do demo day, and there's venture capitalists sitting there listening to the pitches. And the success rate of those ventures is crazy. So to your point, like, why did I need 4 years? I just did in 90 days. Number one, I was paid to it. And number two, I got funding right out of the gate. And then number three, they got more funding. So like that company, for example, they've raised $16.8 million
What?
over 6-7 years, right? So it's a real business. It's growing, and they need capital to fund it, and they got real customers and a real product. So you're like, I don't know. Anyways, I think it's kind of cool. So going back to the 10X program was what we really wanted to talk about. I think you hit it on the head, which is you can do education so much faster. Like sitting in a classroom is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and I was on with we did an episode with Tom Asacker, and he said like one of the big mistakes is that they're trying to educate by filling your mind with information.
And it's all obsolete. Most of the stuff is probably.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like it's not so then I think what I liked about the 10X program, the mentorship program, was the mindset.
Yeah.
That's one of the elements, right?
I think mindset and the collaborate. Like everyone, the network, which is impossible to find nowadays. It's like networking is difficult until you find like a group that is your group, and then it's easy. But like no one knows how to communicate nowadays.
Yeah, it's so weird, but it's true. It's like you got a generation of people that are used to communicating through text and social. Maybe that's it. Yeah. But I think that's why there's an appetite to learn the sales methodology. Like I've been personally through a lot of sales training in my time. I'm probably like older, but I think was this your first sales training?
Yeah, I've never done Brian Tracy or those.
Oh, no, okay.
Yeah, I've worked with people who are like, oh, I've done all of it. I don't need any more. It's like, well, the stuff you probably learned is from the 60s. Like, I don't know.
Well, some of the stuff that we learned might be from the 70s or 80s, but...
yeah, but I mean, like, some of it changes, some doesn't. But
yeah, exactly. There's a good, you can see the material updated too.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely been different generations of sales methodology. And then I think you hit on the head where if everyone's now doing the same training, and there's like core values, right? So the core values were like, no negativity,
right.
Take massive action, right? Get attention for your ideas, support each other. And I don't know, what was kind of the outcome of the program for you in that short period of time?
I'm switching up everything right now. Like it turned my world upside down in the best way, kicked me on my ass. So I realized a lot of the stuff that I was doing needs to go.
Interesting. So. And then, like, I know that we met up at 10X Growth Con. Like, what was kind of your favorite part of that experience?
Meeting up?
Yeah, well, 10X. In Las Vegas, yeah, at the 10X Growth Con.
I don't know, meeting you, fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, yeah. So, I mean, like, again, networking, everybody has knowledge that you don't have. Like, I have knowledge you don't have, you have a shit ton of knowledge that I don't have. And then, like, when people combine work, like, synergy, what is that? The sum is better than...
1 + 1 is 3?
Yeah, it's pretty much right.
It's, what do they say? There's codependence, there's independence, and then there's like
synergy.
Yeah, there's kind of like a synergy. There's another word with a C, but I'm blanking out. Interdependence.
Yeah. Interdependence.
So it's like, taking 1 + 1 and making 3. It's like you make a baby that's, in a sense. We had a discussion, and we were talking about an idea that you had. And I don't know if you want to talk about that.
My app, my social flow app.
Yeah, talk about that for a sec. What's your plans on that?
Actually, it's about how the generation nowadays has been glued to the phone, and that's how they communicate. So my app that I'm going to be creating is called Social Flow, and it will give those same people a notification or a daily task. It'll start easy, and it'll be like, smile at 3 people. And then that would be, you say I did it, it'll post on Facebook, and everyone would be like, oh, like validation. And then, but as you go, it'll get more and more difficult. It'll be like, give 3 people a compliment with no ulterior motive, just simply to brighten their day. And if we get enough people going out of the way to compliment people, to make other people's days better, I mean, like, I think that will have some effect, and hopefully people get confidence in talking to humans again.
That's
So,
really interesting. So you've identified. It's funny. I did the Founders Live New York pitch event, and so there was 5 companies that pitched at that event, that inaugural event,
mhm.
and 2 of them said people are really lonely now. They say 75% of people in America are like lonely,
I believe it.
and
No,
they both had the same point. And part of their pitch of their product, like their apps and their platform, was that. And they're trying to
yeah.
overcome that issue. One was like Down to Dash, and I can't remember the other one. I think it might have been Soho Places, which is a co-working facility, right? But that's kind of like
I,
almost like you're addressing the same issue, right? It's like
it's prevalent. I mean, what is it? One of my friends, she lived in Connecticut, and we were good friends. She moved to New York, and she's like, I'm surrounded by people, but it's the loneliest I've ever been. Like, and that's everywhere.
what? That's crazy.
It's,
See, I think Japan to me is like, if you've ever, I don't know if you've ever been to Tokyo or Japan,
I
but
haven't, but I want to.
it's like going into the future. It's crazy. Like, just culturally, it's like you step into 10 years from now. That's the way you feel. But there's still a connection to the past. Like, there's, thousands of years of history. It's kind of crazy. But the one thing that's really weird about Japan is, like, you go into a Starbucks, it's like being in a library. It's
Really?
considered impolite to make noise and talk loudly. So people are having these little conversations where they're whispering to each other in the Starbucks so as not to be rude. And there's also this thing where they say there's massive isolation of men where it's like impolite for them to approach women.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And,
that's here too.
well, that's
But
what I was going to say. I think there's this BS thing, and there's this whole culture right now that's being pushed onto society around, that's creating a divide between men and women.
yeah, actually, I like everyone, like rape culture or whatever. Like everyone's worried about anything. And actually, like I run half marathons and everything, and so I'm training in my backyard, and I've run 6 miles. And when I run by a female, I still give them a lot of room. Just be like, like, because that they're
It's
afraid of a
crazy.
dude running up on them.
Like
But I
all
ran
of them,
six.
every woman,
Yeah,
of every
every woman's
man.
afraid. Yeah,
Like,
and
I mean, I think there's interesting studies that show. I don't know. It's
yeah,
it's hysteria in a lot of ways. So yes, there's stuff with powerful people that maybe they take liberties, for sure. Like there's some scumbags that are probably being outed, right? But generally,
should be like that. Oh
yeah.
yeah, something.
What they show is that the people that are actually those people that are like doing terrible things, it's the same people doing it multiple times to multiple people.
Yeah,
So it's not like out of 100 it's 75, because they say 1 in 4 women and 1 in 6 men have been unfortunately wronged, right?
yeah.
But that 1 in 4, it's one abuser doing it to many people, you know what I mean? Which is terrible, right? So it's like,
horrible. Like
yeah.
I don't think.
I think
No,
we're all against
no,
that, right? Everybody's
yeah,
against
no,
that, but anyways,
no
it's a
guy
side
thinks that's
diversion,
good.
but
We want to cut that guy's ankles as much as anyone else.
yeah, of course. Yeah,
So,
right? You would protect
yeah.
somebody. So.
hopefully that's what my app's about, to change the
Anyways, to go
culture, so
back,
everyone's happy.
it's so weird, like you look at people and you go, is this person gonna make a crazy accusation or something?
Yeah. No, we just have so many limiting beliefs about people in general. And also people think that the world is getting worse because the media so shows the bad stuff. No, the world's getting better.
It's probably the greatest time. You're in the freest place in the world ever and the safest place in the world ever.
I know.
Despite proliferation of like massive, weapons, which is nutty. That's wacky, right?
It's crazy. I mean, like I was in the military. I'm all about guns. But yeah, we should be able to have a background check for buying a gun. Like
Seems pretty reasonable.
yeah, that there should be some barrier of entry.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's weird. So, anyways, going back to your app, not to divert, we've talked about too much like stuff that's going on in the
we've
world.
had tons
But
of tangents.
apologize.
No, this train has 12 cabooses, but yeah, like back to that.
But I think your app, I think, does target all that stuff, right? Which is this social isolation, and there are some crazy forces that are affecting that. not all reality based, to your point. So it sounds like I think a lot of people would at least try it, right, to try and connect with people that are safe.
And it would like my intention is for it to be pretty much free. It's to be free, and then it will give you a daily task and like a daily article linked to someone who is prominent or like a thought leader on the subject of social dynamics or interaction and how to upgrade your beliefs.
I was reading an interesting article that I'll send to you, and I think it might have been on Wired. I think it might have been. And it was talking about how we're so... Oh, no, you know what it is? I'm in that Ty Lopez group. So Ty was...
Yeah, how is that?
It's so there's not enough activity yet. It's kind of weird. But, you know, so he did his one weekly call, and the one task was to read this book called Social. And what's really interesting in that book is... So it wasn't an article, I think it was in that book, where he's talking about how we're wired, and they're using like this technology to prove it. So they've done brain research, you know, on, I don't know if it's like you were kind of talking about like EKGs, right?
Yeah, EKG.
So you'd be interested in looking at that, and they show that, you know, that we're socially wired to you know to work with together.
Yeah. Right.
So and I think there's been other research around that shows like the amygdala. So we were pack hunters, right? Mm-hmm. So anyways, it's a really interesting book. So I'll send you a link to that because it's actually really interesting. But going back to your apps, so Social Flow is really interesting. That's one of the things you want to do. If we focus on Grant Cardone for a second and the 10X, what were some of your favorite speakers at the program?
Oh, all of them. Hank Norman.
Hank's cool, yeah.
Yeah, he was eccentric.
He's eccentric.
Yeah, but like what he said was awesome. Like connect people to your pain or something, and then like just hit record. It makes sense because if someone sees you online and you're going live, like that's vulnerable. I can't do it for very long. I'm like I get all warm and flushed.
Do you? Wow, really? Okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely, dude. Like I had some major limiting beliefs as a kid. Like I talk funny.
Okay.
And people are brutal. Like kids are brutal.
Yeah, kids
to
are
people
brutal.
That talk funny.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so like up until high school, even up until like college, I didn't like talking.
Oh, I get it. I'm Canadian, so I come here and they're like, "You have an accent." I'm like, "No, you have an accent."
Yeah.
Like, you say "out" funny. It's like, no, you say it funny.
Well, then took and roof.
Oh, took, yeah, roof.
And then you bump into someone and they bump into you and you say sorry.
Yeah, that's normal. Yeah. That's all normal.
It is. It's polite. I love Canada.
Yeah,
Canada.
There's some bad stuff in Canada, but it's not. People are too nice.
I can see that too.
Yeah, which is okay in general society, but it's not good with a couple things. One, you know, with politicians. So they go for the bleeding hearts way too much, and it directly affects your pay. So that's bad, right?
Yeah.
And then the other part, there's no upside in that place. So there is, but it's tougher, right? Smaller market, less opportunity, right? And people are generally very skeptical because they've probably been taken advantage of by people that they're too nice to. They're too nice to them, and then you open the kimono. I think there's an element of that. So I think Canadians are tough, but they need to be a little tougher sometimes.
Yeah,
up front.
Too nice to me. I'm like,
yeah, you gotta. But yeah, generally Canadians are amazing, and it's there's definitely a great culture that everybody can learn from. But so Hank Norman was one of your favorite speakers. Who else?
Hank Norman was great. Russell Brunson.
Oh my God, the guy made people storm to the tables to buy ClickFunnels. Yeah,
he made $3 million in 90 minutes or something.
3.6 or something. That's crazy.
3.6, and then I saw his little he emailed me, and it was about that, and it was how I made $3 million. And
turned into a damn product.
He turned it into that. And if I saw that without being there, I'd be like, F this guy. This isn't real.
No, he sold it like, and he sold it using his methodology, because I was sitting in the audience and I'm listening to he was building the pitch from the beginning, which is, I'm gonna ask you at the end of this for $11,522, and he kept saying that, right? And I'm like, no, you're not. You're gonna ask for $29.95, because I looked in the package, right? But I've understood his methodology, which is build massive value, make an irresistible offer. What's crazy is if you wanted to go buy ClickFunnels, it's like $97 a month. Mm-hmm. So people were paying $290, like $3,000 instead of $1,000 or $1,200, right?
But they did
the upgrade path, but still, like,
yeah, they had all of this stuff. So literally, if you read his book and you did whatever he said, you could make that money back selling things you don't own.
For sure. It is not even, but he built the value. That's kind of my point. Like, it's like an example of how he built value like a master, right?
That guy was a salesman, like, and I loved it.
In a different, unique way, like, not using pressure, selling from the stage. Like, he set the tone for that whole second day, and then everybody was pitching their stuff, right? They were like trying to get it. It's like, no, you gotta give me some of your money too.
Yeah, everyone after that I was like, oh, everyone's pitching, like that one Anik single.
Oh yeah, Singal or whatever.
No,
it's like, no way.
Pitch as well.
I listened to it. It was funny. I listened to some of the speakers. I was in the VIP, and I listened to them in the back, and it was very different because the sound wasn't as good, and so you got to read and watch as opposed to hear, right? And I think the impact of some of the speakers I probably missed, or I picked up on different things than you would have if you were in the audience. So it was kind of weird. Like, there's some of them I was just like, no, and some was like, oh, this guy sounds really interesting. It was very, but I think it was different than people's experience in the audience.
I was in the audience. I watched every single speaker. Like, I couldn't remember a lot of their names, unfortunately. Some were great. Like the lady, she made me cry.
Which one was that? Carrie Kasem?
No, she was great.
Forbes Riley.
Like, I think it was Forbes Riley. Maybe.
She had the short hair and
when she was talking about giving her dad permission to die.
I think that's Carrie Kasem.
Kasem.
That's Casey Kasem's daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, she was like younger, right? Well, she's like 40, but I think she looks younger.
Yeah, that one stored my emotions, and I don't have emotions.
So. You do somewhere.
Somewhere. She found him.
Carrie Kasem. Did you like Tim Story?
Yeah, I bought his Relentless pack. Like,
oh, that's Tim Grover.
Tim. Oh yeah, Tim Story. I'll have to watch that one again, but like, everyone was great. Tim Story. What was his about? I apologize.
He was before Lewis Howes. He's almost got like a preacher style, and he was talking about when he was a kid, and his stories. He tells it very dramatically.
He does. Yeah, he was preaching. He was preaching. I do remember that. So he was a great guy. And
then you bought Tim Grover. Tim Grover's like intense, right? He's the opposite of Tim Story.
Yeah, Tim Grover could be in the Marines yelling at someone.
Yes.
Like, he'd make a great boot camp dude.
Well, I've read his book. Relentless is amazing. I love that book. And actually, I got to talk to him. I got to a bunch of these guys on day one. I got to talk to him a little bit. He was really gracious. I was expecting him to be a jerk. But he was excellent. That's awesome. When we talked to him, I said, "Can I? I wrote this book. Can I sign it for you? Because I really love Relentless, and I'd like to inscribe it." He goes, "Yeah, please." So I signed it, and I said to him, "Anything you need." I told him the stuff that I was good at around automation, because that's what the book is, Automate and Grow. Yeah. And I said, if you need anything technical, doesn't matter what it is, please let me know. He goes, "Give me your number." So I gave him my number, and I haven't heard from him, but he was very gracious. It was really cool to talk to him, and he was like, "Oh, I'm interested in this. This is kind of cool." And so he was pretty engaging. I think because I got to my day one too. I think they were not so overwhelmed,
Yeah, I'm sure that they just got like waves of people trying to do that, because
right.
I talked to a few of them, and they were pleasant, but he was like,
burned out probably.
Yeah.
And then I think who else was really? Did you like Ed Milet?
He was one of the beginning ones, right?
Yeah, and then he came on again, I think, with Grant at the end of day one, and then again on day 4. Which you probably went there for day 4, but
I wasn't there on day 4. I wasn't that fancy.
That's okay.
I liked Ed Milet. I was just gonna say Naveen Jain.
Naveen Jain is amazing.
Naveen Jain.
Yeah, I gotta follow up with him because he said he would do the podcast.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so I gotta like follow up with him and see if I can make that happen.
Yeah. So I bought his stuff.
You did Viome, right?
Yeah, I can't wait to use it. And everything that he does is like genius. And he was talking about some serious problems too: health care, education, same stuff as Weeble.
Yeah, Naveen Jain was like a very understated guy, but you're like, wait a second, this guy's doing two crazy things. He's doing like Moon Express, which is around mining on the moon, right?
Mining helium-3 on the moon, which I was immediately like, I was like, I gave him my code because I woke with non-nuclear density meters.
Right.
I think he was like, thanks. But I was like, no, call me.
Oh man, that's really interesting. Well,
Yeah.
I will follow up this weekend with all the guys. There were some people there that said they would do the podcast, so I'm like holding them to it. And he's one of them.
Better.
He's definitely the one. He gave me his email, and I don't, he was really open. Like he was pretty cool. And then Viome is it mitochondrial health, or explain what Viome is?
Like, it's way above me, but what I can tell, like most inflammation and everything is caused by the gut.
Right.
And I've heard a whole bunch of interviews about this, but I'm still not an expert. But
No.
literally your gut is pretty much a second brain. It's connected directly, and it probably controls just as much as your brain. Because like Parkinson's comes from inflammation and stuff like that, and everything talks to each other. So if you're eating absolute shit, that's why you feel like shit. It's probably like your bulletproof coffee helps your gut in some kind of way.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but if you eat in a certain way, it literally helps everything. So I'm gonna, once I take the test, I'm switching up my diet 100%.
Interesting.
Flipping it upside down.
I'm just taking a look at it here. It's kind of. I'll have to take a look at that closer because I probably should have done it. I didn't even think of that.
I'm gonna start an affiliate program.
Oh, you are.
So don't buy anything yet, because
Okay.
I want your money.
Yeah, you're funny. Yeah. Yeah, why not? That's cool. And then I think I'm trying to think of who else was really good. Tim Grover, Lewis Howes is always good. For me, Ty Lopez, and obviously I'm doing that program. I thought he was like really, really good on stage. Like he's dropping really good knowledge, and he commanded things in a kind of understated manner. And I think I bought rateproteinbars.com.
Yeah.
Which was an idea that he pitched out there. I think I can knock that site out.
That one should be easy. And then you could do like with your other thing, like your food rating, you could just bring some protein bars and just eat them.
Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, you can toss that in just as an afterwards, edit it, and then just throw it in though.
But I think for that it's like I eat protein bars pretty regularly. Like I usually use the bulletproof bars, but there's other ones I buy. So I'm like, I'll do a bunch of video reviews, and then I like the idea of a box service like Mentor Box, but protein bar box. Like you get 10 or 20 or 30 a month. Pick one. It's like get 10 for $10, or $20 or whatever the number is, or $30 or whatever the number is. But
yeah.
So it's actually a good idea. So I saw someone bought the one he was talking about, which was protein bar ratings, and I think they forwarded it to some lame site.
I don't know. The weird thing was seeing like Ty Lopez, Lewis Howes, and everything. I've seen them on like online and everything because they're marketing geniuses.
Yep.
And I always thought that they all have a good story, but they're really intelligent too.
Oh yeah.
Like I always thought like Ty Lopez was like the Walmart of social media. Like I thought he was scraping the bottom. Like he was just like, oh, I love fast cars, like buy my course. No, he's like an extremely intelligent guy.
Oh yeah, he's super smart. And it's kind of interesting to hear how he feels that like he engineered it. So, well, I'll be going to his place in April or something.
Dude, that's gangster.
So I don't know how many people will be there, but hopefully we get something good out of it. Because some of these other ideas that I had are not my main line of business, and I think I always go through this thing where it's like, how much energy do I put into it? But he's showing that you can legitimately, drive traffic conversion and make money on that stuff and scale it, right?
Yeah.
So as much as I think there was some interesting criticism lobbed at him on day 4 when you weren't there, and it didn't specifically say him, but it was like, there's guys that are saying to start a protein bar site or something, and, you need to learn how to sell. I'm like, I don't disagree with you need to learn how to sell, but what he's showing is also valuable too, right? Yeah. So it's definitely a younger versus an older mindset. And then Hank Norman went on a rant about him because Hank went on, I don't know if it was the Cardone Facebook group, but he was because Ty said it was talking about Mentor Box and how he spent maybe 20 minutes on it or something. 20 hours. I think he said 20 hours on the business, and his partner, he was doing that introvert extrovert, match, right? He's saying, yeah, find a partner that'll do all the work and you do all the ideas. And then we both threw in $100,000. But he said, I maybe spent 20 hours on this business, and it's worth, he says, 18 or 20 million bucks, right? Right. So Hank's like, fuck you, Ty Lopez.
Really?
Yeah, because he was saying, oh, would you work 20 hours on something for, $1 million an hour? He goes, like, this was totally worth it, right? That was kind of part of Ty Lopez's pitch.
Yeah.
Which I thought was actually very impactful, and I think that's why he did it. I'm sure he's worked more than that on it.
I'm sure he has, but it's kind of like me and you talking about ideas. Is it woke, or is it, like networking and fun?
True. Good point. And we have an idea that we're working on together, so I'm really interested in that. I think that's it's not my normal space necessarily, although I'd use similar sites, but I think it'll capitalize on what's been going on in the group. So if I think we should do something. I think that methodology that came out of the program, and I think this probably comes from Hank Norman. I don't know what you think, which is, have an idea, get attention for it, set an intention of tell people what you want to come out of this, and then propose something, right? So I think we should almost do that because we're going to need people on that platform when we build it.
Yeah. Do you use Canva?
Yes, I love Canva. I use Canva for all my graphics for the podcast, actually.
We could do a 10XTalent thing and post it on the group. See if people would in fact do it.
So. I realized that I have 10xtalent.biz, by the way. .com is off in the ether somewhere. But I think, to elaborate on that, I think one of the things that we connected on, you had an idea around recruiting 10XTalents. So people that have been through Cardone or have this mindset or read the book, right? 10X, what the hell is it called? 10X Rule?
I think it's the 10X Rule.
Yeah. It's so bad I can't remember the name of the book now. I've read it so many times, but I think I've read it at least twice. Maybe, probably. I still can't remember it. But the idea being that if you buy into this methodology that you're a 10X talent, then you put your profile on the site like a freelancer type site, and then people that are looking for 10X talents can hire you for gigs, or the idea is maybe if you want some permanent engagement. But I think that's a great idea that you had. So I grabbed 10xtalent.biz, and then we're going to build something over the next 3 to 4 weeks together. And then I want all the people that are in our program and that buy into the methodology to get their profile on there and kind of highlight what their 10X talent is.
Yeah. And then and all of the mentors that were on the that did those speeches, they all have different niches.
Right.
I think because Grant Cardone is sales and business and stuff like that.
Real estate.
Damon John is entrepreneurship.
Right.
And business law, actual things you need to know with business without the theory, setting LLCs and trademarks and the nitty gritty. So I think everyone has different things that they will be able to
contribute.
Freelance. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And it would be awesome to do lifestyle because people can do 10X talent and travel the world doing what they want.
That's really interesting. So it's like an enabler.
Well, it's like freelance. If someone can do it over the phone or online, do it.
Yeah. I agree. That's really interesting. So what was your big takeaway from 10X GrowthCon? I don't want to keep you all day.
Yeah, it's good. Throw away your limiting beliefs. Just as important as starting something new is getting rid of the trash. Brush your teeth.
Oh my God. I can't believe how that impacted everybody. The Brad Lee segment, right? Everybody was talking about that.
My dad's a dentist, and I can I can see bad teeth from a mile away. If someone is like
That's
smiling
funny.
at me with like cornbread teeth, or just
Oh man.
like they did goggle butter, or just like all of those sayings, it is disgusting.
No.
It's a deal breaker right there. So,
I have all my own teeth, but no thanks to hockey.
dude, I did 3 years of hockey too.
Well, I was playing men's league one year, and I got a puck in the mouth, and it like split this in three, and my teeth went to the bottom, and one of them, this one came right out like this. I saw this on the ice. And they shoved it back up.
And it made it.
Root canal, a little shave to even it out. This one through the root. So the root's like this, right? You would appreciate this. There's a crack through the root. So my dentist is like, that's going to die. You got to pull it. And I'm like, it's not going to die. He's like, listen, it's going to turn yellow. It's going to be a mess. I got to pull it and put a new tooth in it. I'm like, you don't understand. It's not going to happen. So every 6 months, I go back to the dentist. He goes, that tooth seems all right. I'm like, yeah, I told you. It's going to be all right. And he had to fill in these two in the backs because they were kind of like, the backs were kind of broken, gone. So he filled those in. I had to go get a root canal on that one. And this one, he was like, oh man, I don't know. So then he was like, this is incredible. He goes, I can't believe this. He goes, your tooth is like, it's still alive, but look at the x-ray. So he showed me the before x-ray and then the after one. He goes, the line is getting smaller. So it was going like this, the crack. He goes, I don't know how this is possible. He goes, can I do a study on your teeth? And I'm like, no. He goes, why not? I go, I don't want all these people from the University of Toronto calling me, asking me why I'm like Wolverine.
I am.
Just keep this on the DL. So
That's
every time I go back, he goes, please, can I please talk to my colleagues about this? Like, nobody will bother you. So I said, I don't want one person calling me. So I think he published the study on my tooth. And then I've moved since then, and I've been to other dentists, and they're always like, this is ridiculous. Like, there's no evidence. And I go, no, there's a crack, like right there. It goes, but this tooth's alive. I don't know. Magic. But,
magic.
Yeah. Thanks, hockey.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, we've kind of gone off on a bunch of different topics, but I'm glad that you had such a positive 10x experience. You've got a lot of cool stuff going on. I'm really excited about our project with the 10xtalent.biz. So the next 3 to 4 weeks are going to be kind of crazy because we've decided that we're going to partner on this and build this site that's basically like a 10x freelancer site in a sense, or gig site, right? So it's I
think it would be a quality Upworks, more curated.
So not about driving people's product price down, but it's more about finding the right resource to help you 10x your business and let you focus on your 10x talent while someone else gets to monetize theirs. I think that's the goal, right?
Yep. Yeah, it'll help everyone.
All right, so Shawn, I really enjoyed connecting with you. I've learned a bunch of stuff that I didn't know before, including that you're in the Navy. And I'm excited about the next 3 to 4 weeks. So today is like March 4th. Our goal is by April 4th to be launching this thing.
All right, I'm down with that.
Let's do it.
I'll spend my tax money on it. So.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. And then
I think it is.
And what we'll do, and while we're building it, is we'll get people to put their profiles on. So get them to submit profiles, maybe just through a web form that we can then upload. So it'll be like a spreadsheet, and we just upload the spreadsheet. So if you're a 10x talent and you're listening to this, think about what your 10x talent is and your skill set. Marketing, sales, customer support, and then from the technology side, I think we're focusing on people that might know ClickFunnels, might know Facebook ads, might those sort of talents that drive business and keep customers. So I think that's part of the 10x. Not purely technical for the sake of technical. It's like, so that's what we're looking for to put their profile on. And if you're looking for that sort of talent, know that this thing is going to get launched and you're going to be able to find. Here's what I want. I want a site where I can find young hustlers.
Yep.
Right? So I think that's one category. where it's like, real estate people could find real estate people. So I think those are all interesting things. So I'm excited about that. So I'm pumped. And then social flow, we'll have to talk more about that, see if I can help you with that.
That's in the future. I'm still working on that too. So
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. So this has been a rather tangenty Automate and Grow YouTube episode with Shawn O'Brien, and talking about the 10X Growth Con and the 10X Ambassador Program and a bunch of social craziness in between. But thank you for joining me. This has been really fun. I'm going to jump on with someone else shortly, and I'm looking forward. We'll have to do some video updates on the progress we're making with 10XTalent.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a project. So I appreciate everything, and I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Shawn.